In today's video, we review what a Japanese mum eats in a day, and we look at why the Japanese are so healthy compared to many in the West. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO organic acid stool test and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video.
How come Japanese women are so slim?
It's because very often they don't eat like many in the West. They eat many different fruits and vegetables, and they don't overconsume their food.
I just don't know what's the correct portions to eat. This is the question I've been recently receiving from many of you. To answer these questions, I'll monitor myself to reveal everything by showing what I ate all day while listing calories.
I think this is going to be super interesting compared to many of the normal what I eat in a day videos that I typically review.
I'm not saying I am slim. I'm in the standard of Japanese women in their late 30s. I'm relatively short, but not too thin, not too fat. I guess a perfect example.
And that is the way that humans should be, not ripped and not obese.
Waking up 5 in the morning, boil the water and cook the rice. While it's being cooked, do some morning yoga for 15 minutes before kids wake up.
I really need to get into yoga properly.
Then drink some hot water with yuzu and make bento box and breakfast. Get my kids ready, and of course my husband helps me a lot.
Like any good husband should do.
During that time, I don't usually sit down and eat. I just munch on some apples in the kitchen since I'm too busy to prepare everything. When I eat something in a hurry, I found myself tends to overeat.
I think this is a very good point that is often overlooked. It is so important to carve out your meal times to ensure that you leave ample time to sit down and eat your meals properly. Not only will this aid healthy digestion, but it will also help you avoid overeating, and there are many different studies to support the fact that when people are eating in a rush, they tend to overeat their calories.
I don't even realize how much I eat. This is the breakfast for my family. I have a recipe of Japanese egg omelette and Chinese cabbage pickle if you guys want to cook some for yourself. Link is on the description box below.
So look, I believe that animal products are a non-essential element in people's diets. That being said, like you will have heard me say many times on this channel, you can absolutely be healthy eating animal foods in your diet. It is all about context. Many of the longest lived people in the world eat predominantly plant-based diets, and maybe around 10% of their calories or so come from animal foods. Just have a look at Miwa's breakfast. Not only is it predominantly plant-based, but look at the bowls and plates that are used. They keep the portion sizes much smaller than we typically see in the West for equivalent meals.
After kids left with my husband, I could finally sit down and eat. This is today's breakfast: avocado rice bowl, miso soup with loads of veggies, and carrot and broccoli stem simmered with sweet soy sauce. We call this kimpira in Japanese. The total calorie is 900 including apple.
Obviously not a massive fan of the avocado on rice, but I can tell you what, I would quite happily live solely on a plant-based Japanese diet.
Let me quickly show you how I made this avocado bowl because I really want you guys to try this. It's so easy but delicious. First, peel the skin of avocado and remove the seeds. And I recommend using ripe avocado because we're gonna mash it up.
All jokes aside, as I always joke about my dislike of avocados, but they are a great source of nutrition, including magnesium, potassium, vitamin C, vitamin E, and also vitamin K. And they are also a great source of fiber.
Mine was still too hard to mash, so ending up cutting into small chunks. Drizzle some lemon juice to retain the vibrant green color. If you have a fresh one, that will be better. Chop some celery for the crunchy texture.
I think they are two of my most disliked foods. Does anyone else dislike celery? Can you actually imagine drinking celery juice like some of the crazy people out there?
Any crunchy veggies like onion, cucumber, shallot will be a great substitution. Drain the oil of canned tuna and add it to the avocado.
Look, as a vegan, I'm never going to recommend that people eat tuna for obvious reasons, but from the health aspects, the most obvious reason to avoid tuna is for the sheer amount of mercury that it contains. It's why organisations such as the FDA recommend eating tuna no more than once a week if you're a normal-sized adult, and also to avoid tuna if you are pregnant.
You can skip the tuna if you are plant-based. Sprinkle some salt. Drizzle some soy sauce. Then add homemade vegan mayo. You can also add cream cheese, sour cream, and Greek yogurt as a sub. It's up to you.
Again, as a vegan, there are healthier options than this, but just think about what a typical Western breakfast looks like compared to this.
My homemade vegan mayo contains tofu. It's protein packed. I have a recipe video on that. Please go to the description box for the link. Mix them well all together, then top the generous amount on the rice.
I love that the majority of this meal is made at home and from scratch.
Garnish some spring onion and black pepper if you want to. This is so good. One of my quick lunch staples. I added Chinese cabbage, daikon radish into my miso soup. And for kimpira, I shredded carrot and broccoli stem in matchsticks. The outer side of the broccoli stem is a little bit fibrous to eat, but I always keep inside for making stir fry or soups. Then simmer with some soy sauce, sugar, and mirin, together with soybeans for the extra protein.
Strangely, I've never thought of using broccoli stems like this. I usually just eat the florets and then compost the rest.
I love to enjoy with nori seaweed. It's like a mini sushi. You might be surprised, but I still crave for something sweet.
The Japanese typically eat a lot of sea vegetables that are packed full of iodine, and it is one of the main reasons that the Japanese typically have lower rates of thyroid issues compared to those seen in the West.
So usually have some dark chocolate with tea or coffee. Today I have a ginger black tea almond latte. This milk former is one of the best kitchen gadget I bought from Daiso in 2020. There's nothing exciting on my ordinary day, but a little bit of indulgence made me so happy.
Dark chocolate is super healthy, well, anything over 75% cacao content, and it's packed full of nutrition such as iron, magnesium, and also zinc. And if you don't like dark chocolate, then please unsubscribe.
I need this fluffy milk form to make myself happy. So do you guys have any small happy moment for yourself?
Yes, dark chocolate and a good documentary, and I'm in my happy place.
Around 1 p.m., I started to feel hungry again. So since my breakfast is usually pretty heavy, it's filling enough to hold my stomach up until this time. Here's my lunch. Soy milk miso soup, natto topped with some spring onion and egoma oil, which is high in omega-3 fat, and the rice. I love to mix some seeds and beans into my rice.
How ace does that look?
I have a couple miso soup recipes, so again, the link is in the description box. The total calorie is 700 calories, including snack and latte. I have to have something to munch on in the afternoon, so I grab some cookies from Muji to enjoy with kids later on.
A better option would have been fruits or nuts, but again, compare this to many of the processed refined foods seen in the West.
Coming back home, I enjoyed some green tea and 3 crackers with strawberry jam as a filling.
Yes, green tea is often attributed to the long life expectancy for many of those living in Japan. Me personally though, I don't buy that. Healthy diets are the sum cumulative effect of all of the healthy elements of the diet, and no particular food or beverage is going to significantly increase your longevity prospects more than any others.
It's about 200 calories. By the way, this day I was working from home, wrote a script for YouTube. Just writing a script usually takes me at least 2 hours since everything is in English. I go to Google Translate and find the right word for you guys to understand. So when you leave a comment that you enjoy the video, I'm very relieved that my video is good enough to understand. So thank you so much for your kind comments.
Miwa is certainly tough on herself there. Her English is certainly better than my Japanese.
For dinner, I'm making tomato pasta and some soup for kids. This tomato sauce only contains tomato, garlic, olive oil, and salted rice malt.
I need to move to Japan. Just look at that food.
You can't imagine how good this is. It has a depth in flavor but still so fresh. It's happened to be vegan, so you guys have to try this recipe if you have access to salted rice malt, also known as shiokoji in Japanese.
Most people who eat this way are predominantly plant-based, and as I always say in these videos, if the vast majority of people ate this way in the world, then we would be in a much better place, and so would the animals be.
My kids usually have a dinner at 6 p.m. However, I won't be hungry until around 8 p.m. so I just had some soup for dinner with kids. The soup contains burdock, carrot, onion, kabocha squash, mushrooms, and mixed beans, and many more, seasoned with some Japanese curry powder, herbs, and veggie broth.
That looks immense, and just think about how much nutrition is in that pot.
And also I added soy milk to make it creamy. It's not a Japanese food, so I didn't film how to cook it, but if you guys want, I can make a recipe about that, so let me know in the comment section below. Kids had a blueberry for dessert, so I had some too. The total calorie for the dinner is 250 calories. And the total calories in a day is 2050 calories.
If you live in Japan and you can cook like this and you have a spare room, then I'm on my way.
By the way, as a disclaimer, this is what I just calculated according to the app, so might not be so accurate. I never track myself until I decide to film this. One thing I realized is that I eat a lot of fermented stuff like natto, miso paste, even soy sauce to treat my guts well.
I always try and keep one eye on the science, but I'm more concerned about what the longest lived people eat, and it's predominantly fruits and vegetables, and look how healthy they look for it. And with all of those fermented foods, they will have super healthy guts, so consider adding fermented foods into your diets.
In fact, I have not been constipated for more than 5 years, and also I naturally take most of my calories in the morning so that my body has some time to digest and burn some calories.
It's going to be super difficult to deal with constipation while eating this way unless you have underlying gut issues, and also, like Miwa is suggesting in the video, try and get the vast majority of your calories earlier in the day if you can.
I wasn't intentionally doing this. Becoming a morning person allows me to have these eating habits, I guess. I also listen to my hunger cue. I only eat when I'm hungry.
That is so much easier when eating this way. When you are eating a more processed, refined diet, there is often no off switch with your appetite, and you are much more likely to continually overeat.
That's it for today. Did you guys enjoy this? I hope this video gave you some new inspiration.
I absolutely love this day of eating. Yes, I would have preferred for the animal foods to have been removed, but this is light years ahead of what many in the West are eating today. As a day of eating, it has everything that you want to see in a healthy, balanced diet. And of course, I love the fact that it has good sources of iodine that are missing from so many of these review videos that I do. So that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out this one up here because I'm sure you'll find it equally interesting. And the only other thing that's left for me to say is to remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.